our Rift Valley resort town of Eldoret, the first political dialogue for Somalia that brought together parties and stakeholders. This was the beginning of the tortuous yet crucial journey to the reconstruction of the state of Somalia. In March 2003, those talks moved to Mbagathi in Nairobi, where in October 2004, we made the historic breakthrough with formation of the interim government of Somalia. This government, that was headed by President Abdullahi Yusuf, was hosted in Nairobi alongside other nascent institutions of government like the interim parliament. In fact, Excellencies, for a while, Nairobi was host to three governments: the government of Somalia, the government of South Sudan, and the government of Kenya. And Kenyans, Nairobians, got accustomed to three motorcades, three presidential motorcades. Presidential motorcade of President Abdullahi Yusuf, the motorcade of John Garang de Mabior, and that of our own then President Mwai Kibaki. The transitional government moved to Baidoa in February 2005 and subsequently evolved into the transitional federal government of Somalia. Our engagement and support continued and has included our prominent role in AMISOM, under whose mandate Kenyan young men and women have and continue to place their lives on the line in pursuit of peace and stability for our cherished neighbor, Somalia. Kenya has also adopted and continue to enhance policies to support Somali business and commercial interests in Kenya, which we believe contributes to helping rebuild this country. Other areas of partnership include Somalia opening up your airspace to Kenya Airways that flies here to Mogadishu, another platform for our people-to-people engagement and continuation of our long history of engagement. Today, Kenya celebrates the great strides of progress achieved in returning Somalia to a trajectory of stability and prosperity. Yes, Your Excellency, we have achieved much together, supported by some truly dedicated friends and partners seated in this room. Of course, challenges remain, as would be expected, on such an epic journey, such a mammoth task of reconstructing a state and reorienting a nation. Financial stability, institution building, entrenching the budding culture of democracy, enactment of a popular constitutional order, anchoring security, and expanding and deepening a culture of inclusivity are some of the challenges that must be confronted. But it's gratifying that we all share a firm commitment to support Somalia surmount these challenges. In the words of Nelson Mandela, a fine son of our continent, it always seems impossible until it's done, and we believe it shall be done. Kenya declares solidarity with Somalia on this noble mission and assures you, Excellency, and all friends and partners here that we remain firmly committed to the values and aspirations we have traveled together in pursuit of for so many years. We urge the international community to step up and sustain support, including on the important agenda of debt relief for Somalia. There is a famous African saying, it was beloved of one of the founding fathers of our continent, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, and it says, if you want to go very fast, you walk alone. But if you want to go very far, you walk with others.
Yes.
Kenya wants to go very far, walking hand in glove with Somalia. I thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you. It's very, very reassuring. Very good to hear from you. Welcome home. Can I now invite my brother from Djibouti?
Thank you, Your Excellency. Your Excellency Hassan Ali Khaire, Prime Minister of the Federal Republic of Somalia, Your Excellencies, Ministers of the Federal Government, my dear brother Ahmed Issa Awad, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Head of Delegations, ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellency, at this stage of the discussions, I just would like to make some general comments and express on behalf of the Djibouti people and government and transmit through you respectful and brotherly regards and encouragement from His Excellency the President of Djibouti, Ismail Omar Guelleh, to his brother, His Excellency Mohammed Abdullahi Mohammed, President of the Federal Republic of Somalia, people and his government. Your Excellency, it's undeniable that over the past few years, Somalia has made great strides toward achieving significant progress on many areas. We congratulate you, and we Djiboutians feel very proud of these timely achievements under your leadership and the leadership of the President. Djibouti is honored to attend this important meeting, and on behalf of my government, I would like to assure you of our continuous support. I thank you.
I thank my brother and colleague from Djibouti, very grateful for your presence, and we commend your efforts, the historical efforts that you put into this country. So we're very, very, very grateful. Can we now move on to the next person? I would like to give 2 minutes, President Warar, on the issue of inclusive politics.
Thank you very much, Excellency. I want to make a couple of quick points to try to bring the discussion about elections from the lofty aspirations to a more practical level. Elections, when done properly and when they involve a peaceful transfer of power, send a powerful message to the citizens of a country, especially the young people. And this powerful message is that anyone can aspire to hold the highest office in the land, that they are a stakeholder in the future and welfare of this nation. So if the choice is between a bad election and no election, I would take a bad election any day. Because it's not an accident that conflicts arise when elections are postponed or delayed or not held on time, as we have experienced before the collapse of our government and of our nation. Therefore, we should all reaffirm our commitment to hold elections on time, whether they are perfect or not, at all levels of government, in the federal and
kala duwan
level as well.
federaal ama dawlad goboleedba
How this election will be conducted
sidee baa loo qabanayaa
will not so
doorashadaasi
much depend
kuma xirna
on our ideas or our aspirations
sidaan
or our
doonayno
wishes.
iyo rajadeenna iyo waxaas kuma xirna waxay ku xiran tahay xaqiiqada dhulka taalla ay ku xiran tahay
Therefore,
haddii aan doonayno doorasho wanaagsan qof iyo codkiisa aan u qabanno waa inaan ku dadaalnaa inaan jawiga aan u diyaarina si doorashada lagu qabto sida loogu qabto sanadka 2020 waayo aragnimadii aan ka qaadanay ee casharkii aan ka baranay 2016 waxaan noo muuqda in ay adkaan doonto sida daraaddeed waa inaan u diyaar garownaa inaan iska xirno ama meel ku xirno hawsha wanaagsan aan meesha ku wadno amniga iyo dhaqaalaha iyo horumarinta bulshada aan ka ilaalinno siyaasadda xisbiyada aan ka xisbiyaysan haddii siyaasadayno wax kastaba oon kaga baxno waddada aan ku soconno hadda taasna nasiib darray noqon doontaa sida daraaddeeda waxaan fursadan uga faa'iidaysanayaa inaan ku ballan qaadno si aan mabaadi'dan aan ku ballan qaadno sida mar kasta la yidhaahdo madaxayna aan sare u qaadno cagaheedana dhulka aan ku hayno waad mahadsantihiin wakiilka igad baad u mahadsan tahay mudane ra-iisul wasaare gudoomi iyo ogolaan inaan ku mahad u celiyo dowladda federaalka Soomaaliya oo martigelisay kulankan gaar ahaan oo ku saabsan arrimo badan oo ay ka mid tahay siyaasad loo wada dhan yahay siyaasad loo wada dhan yahay waa waxyaabaha dowladda lagu dhiso nabadda lagu dhiso dib u heshiisiinta igaad waxay garowsanaysaa dadaalka ay dowladda federaalka Soomaaliya ay ka wado gaar ahaan hawsha uu ka wado ra-iisul wasaaruhu uu ka wado isku dhafka ciidamada koonfur galbeed iyo galmudug taani waxaan hore loo arag waa guul weyn oo laga gaaray isku dhafka siyaasadda igaad waxay taageeraysaa arrintan dowladda federaalka ay ku taageeraysaa tallaabadan ay qaaday dadaalkan ay wado dowladda federaalka waxay keenaysaa wada shaqayn iyo isu tanaasul igaad waxay ku taageeraysaa dowladda federaalka Soomaaliya iyo dowlad goboleedyadu inay isla hadlaan si loo helo looga shaqeeyo dadka Soomaaliyeed mustaqbalka fog in la sameeyo hay'adaha dowladaha ka dhaxeeya waxay muhiim tahay in nidaamka federaalka in uu noqdo mid oo la sii wado kaasoo lagu xallin lahaa caqabadaha sida daraaddeed siyaasadda loo wada dhan yahay laguma samayn karo iyadoon la soconin kobac dhaqaale iyo isbeddelka amniga iyo bulshada arrintaasi waa arrin aad u muhiim sida daraaddeed Soomaaliya waa inay sii wadaa siyaasadda iyo diblomaasiyadda ay dadaalka ay Soomaali wado oo ay deynta loogu cafinayo waxaan ku faraxsanahay dad badan oo halkan jooga ay Soomaaliya ay ku taageersan yihiin baa meesha jooga waan mahadsanyihiin aad baan idinku farxinayaa ambassador waa ku mahadsantahay isku safarsanay galmudug meel kastaba aad baan idinku ammaanaynaa ku faraxsanahay ku mahadinaynaa galmudug iyo meel kaleba waxaan u gudbaynaa meelaha kale qaybta kale ee kulanka intaan u gudbin waan soo koobaynaa fariimaha ka yimaaday idinka ood sheegteen gaar ahaan beesha caalamka iyo heshiiska aan ku wada galnay heshiiska isla xisaabtanka labada dhinac sababta aan u yeelanayno taasi waxa waye si loo xaqiijiyo wax kastoo loo baahan yahay in wax laga bedelo in la sameeyo waxaan ku hanweynahay in idinkala shaqayno arrintaas si toosa aan ka wada shaqayno sida loo xaqiijin lahaa aan si wadno guulaha aan ka gaarnay arrintaasi waxaan hadda u gudbayaa bulshada horumarinta bulshada waxaan ka codsanayaa qof oo xafiiska ra-iisul wasaaraha inuu 3 daqiiqo oo cajal oo video ah noo shido oo aan daawano mahadsantihiin filimkan gaaban oo ka hadlaya horumarinta bulshada. Haddaadan ka warhayn bulshaadan u garanaynin waa tiyaatarka qaranka
through 3 different initiatives. One, the civil servants have been attending to rebuild as a public participation. Second, we thank the business community of Mogadishu who have also contributed to that. And 3, we've used a little bit of money from those donors who've invested in the search support, and we also want to recognize them. So these are buildings that are at the heart and the culture of our nation. And when I grew up, or before I left this country, that was the symbol of civilization. And I'm very proud that we could rebuild with our energy and resources and some of the donors' money, which we would like to recognize them. On top of that, you saw we are rebuilding the monuments of our history. They called Hawatako, Daljirka Dahson. We're going also put into how they were. These are some of the changes and services we want to show our people as a symbol of rebuilding, because they want services to be delivered. They want the government to start rebuilding its nation. So since we don't have enough resources, we ask our civil servants, every line ministry, once a week, to report to one of these locations to contribute. Thanks to our business community, who have contributed to more than 55% of the constructions of at least 2 of them. And thanks to the donors who invested in the search support, who have invested $1.5 million also in this. It would have costed a lot of money, but that combination is delivering. And we're going to rebuild this country. So with that introduction, I will invite the Minister of Health to deliver her remark on social service sector. Minister Fawzia.
Thank you, Excellency Prime Minister Khaira, Excellencies, esteemed participants, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The social sector roadmap is an effort of different ministers and agencies working in the social sector to rebuild the country's social services. The sector has developed this roadmap, which is multi-sectoral coordination platform with agreed upon and attainable milestones. Thank you. With agreed upon and attainable milestones with clear timeline. It lays down a foundation to establishing a formidable government-led reform on social services delivery. One way to build confidence in people is to show that the government's first and foremost priority is to provide basic services such as health, education, water and sanitation to the population at large. We are aware of the fact that sustainable provision of quality services is central to the country's poverty reduction strategy, security, politics. Main components of this roadmap are to provide affordable and accessible basic services like health, education, clean water, and electricity. By the way, those are basic human rights. To build knowledge, skills, and creation of employment opportunities for Somalis, particularly for youth. provide durable solution for internally displaced persons, to create awareness and sensitization of citizens on national issues that relate to religion, nationality, and human rights, develop policies, strategies, and regulations for enhancement of social services. The roadmap addresses the need to improve the delivery of essential services for all Somalis while targeting highly disadvantaged groups. Indeed, the government has made commendable efforts by increasing revenue for social service, strengthening public service delivery capacity, operationalizing national hospitals and schools, enhancing governance and accountability. The social sector roadmap has set plans that address the sector's challenges while building towards addressing institutional funding and capacity challenges, policies, legislation, regulations, and standards to oversee the provision of quality health services and increase access to a standard essential health services package that have been established. National referral hospitals have been operationalized and 75 health training centers have been reopened across the country. A specific universal health coverage roadmap has been developed recently for the country. The government has also set the agenda towards achieving Sustainable Development Goals, Goal 4, and it's working on ensuring the provision of inclusive and equitable quality education and training opportunities that promote lifelong prospects for all. The roadmap has put education as a key need for the people of Somalia, and currently a decentralized education system is being operationalized by the Federal Ministry of Education. Enrollment rate increased significantly to 35%. The government is planning to further enroll 1 million children to school very soon. And professional schools have been reconstructed and rehabilitated and reopened. 2 million textbooks and teachers' guides for grade 1 to 8 have been written, printed, and distributed. Water access is significant in the fight against the poverty reduction, and therefore developing a nationwide master plan to ensure sustainable water management among competing issues is a government priority. Water is critical for health, nutrition, school performance, productivity, and household income. The government has strived to ensure that there are new jobs and training opportunities, particularly for the youth of our country, the future generation of leaders in our society. Indeed, the government is working to ensure the creation of jobs and employment opportunities for 50,000 youth. Technical and vocational education and training programs are underway. This will support overcoming existing human resource constraints by addressing the nationwide skills mismatch issue. The Ministry of Labor and Social Affairs led the reforming of Somali's labor code of 1972 as part of the reform agenda. The revision of the Civil Service Law number 11 in process. The reformed legislation provides a detailed outline of the practice and procedures in relation to the civil service and public sector workers. The government has formulated and endorsed a comprehensive social protection policy for Somalia to tackle inequality in the country and will further curb protracted intergenerational poverty transmission. The government has also worked to establish a durable solutions secretariat And additionally, it has also approved a national policy on refugee returnees and IDPs to focus on some of the most vulnerable people in our society. I thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Fausia. Can I invite now President Haf?
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم مدن رئيس الوزراء مدحضة كلا وكسو غيب قشي الشركة مدن يالي مروين أرنت social development ama horumarinta bulshada anigu ii kala soocan tahay runtii bulshada Soomaaliyeed markii uu dhacay dhibaatada ka dhacday Soomaaliga 91 iyo wixii ka dambeeyay dadku aad iyo aad bay isu xilqaameen dib badan baa ka jira ilaa haddana wuu jira qaxooti in badda lagu daato wax badan oo jira laakiin marka aad dib u eegto tacliintii iyo caafimaadkii iyo wixii ay ka shaqeeyeen aniga مثلا galmudug 93 iskuul baa ku taal 17 ayaa ama iskuuladii hore ah ama hay'ado dhiseen hadda inta kale dadka ayaa dhistay oo iskaa ku qabso ku dhistay iyo lacag ayagu iska ururiyeen isbitaalada 36 isbitaal baa ku taal kuwa yar iyo kuwa waaweyn 6 baa hay'ado dhiseen 30 kale dadka dhistay waxaa loo baahan yahay marka dadka si looga shaqaysiiyo ummadda baagamuudada aad bay u badan tahay 75% dadka dhalinyarada ahaa haddii ay shaqo waayaan waa dhibaato in shaqo loo abuuro ayaa loo baahan yahay shaqo abuurkii waxa ugu weyn oo hortaagan waa lack of energy yacni koronto la'aan ama quwad la'aan waaye warshad lama samayn karo wax la qaban karaa ma jirto waxaa loo baahan yahay haddii energy la helo dadku warshado badan bay dhisan lahaayeen dadkuna shaqay ka heli lahaayeen annaga waxyaalaha maaragtay oo aan oil u baahnayn dabaysha iyo qorraxda labadaas oo energy dhali kara ayaan qabnaa Soomaaliya ay qani ku tahay Soomaaliya energy-ga meesha adduunka ugu dabaysha badan waaye windmill power haddii la keeno 24 hours bay shaqayn kartaa inaan ku fakarno beesha caalamkuna nagu gacan siisaan rabnaa arrintaa si dadka ay u helaan energy warshado loo helo warshadihiina ay markaa dadku uga shaqaysto dadku xoolo dhaqato kaliya ma noqon karaan haddaan u samayno xoolo oo cuntada u beeri lahayn koronto ma jirto energy ma jiro animal feed in xoolaha loo sameeyaa la rabaa cunto in loo sameeyo awood bay u baahanta haddii ceel la qodo power buu u baahan yahay ma hayno that's why cuntadii xoolaha loogu samayn kari laayahay wax kastaa waxaan tegay hobyo maalintii waxaa lasoo qabtaa around 100 tons baa lasoo qaban karaa oo kalluuna laakiin no storage because of power 1 liter of diesel $1.5 impossible they cannot buy storage ku waa dhisan yahay koronto ma leh waxaan marka maaragtay u soo jeedinayaa waan dadka Soomaalida iyo dawladda federaalka iyo ummadda Soomaalida ku baraarujin waxa waaye dadka in loo helo energy haddaan energy la helin no development kalluunka annaga ka soo baxa hobyo about 100 tons a day laakiin no storage they throw tomorrow morning they never go to the sea and catch they will stop fishing because no storage marka every qof kasto annaga naga mid ah beesha caalamkaada ama annaga ha ahaato waa inaan maskaxdeeda gelinaa in dadka energy loo sameeyo dalka si horumarin loo helo aad iyo aad baa umahadsantihiin
Thank you very much, President Hath, for that important remark. I would like to now call, no one is from the EU here. Yeah, Hans.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Prime Minister.
Yes.
Yesterday I had 4 minutes. Today I think I have 1 minute, so I will try to be very, very brief. But first of all, I would like to congratulate the government and also the regional presidents for the progress that has been made and has indeed just been outlined by the Minister of Health. Provision of social services is vital for the credibility of the government and the whole state building process. It is therefore a problem that access to health, education and broader skills continue to deprive the population from engaging in productive livelihoods and economic development. It is critical that healthcare and education services are accessible, available, acceptable and of a good quality, because without that, no real sustainable progress can be gained in the future. A few issues. Tremendous progress has been made in strengthening the capacity of the government institutions at all levels to deliver service or to provide the service delivery, and we welcome this approach and we will continue to stand behind you in developing the local capacity, recognizing though that at least in the foreseeable future, donors, NGOs, private sector will play an important role in the development of the sector and the service delivery. I think we all agree that domestic resource mobilization is absolutely key, and we have spoken enough about that so far, so I don't need to go there. It is important, as we have discussed both yesterday and today, to recognize the importance of human rights and the rule of law in social development. In particular, the importance of putting women and girls' protection and empowerment at the center of the development of the social sectors is crucial. In the spirit of leaving no one behind, addressing the needs of the around 2.6 million IDP is also central to Somalia's development, and we have just listened to the Minister's presentation of the measures that are being taken, and we continue to support you in addressing this most complex humanitarian and development situations, which is probably the most complex in the world. We stand behind you. In this context, it is also important to focus on what is called the humanitarian development nexus. The humanitarian needs remains very, very big in Somalia. We stand ready to continue helping you addressing those needs, but of course we need to do it in a way that makes it sustainable so that we don't have to address the same crisis year after year. Finally, we welcome, and the Minister referred to that, the progress that has been made on the resilience and recovery framework, and we are very, very keen to support you in implementing a government-led resilience process. I don't think I managed in 1 minute, but I stop here.
Thank you very much, Hans. Thank you very much. We have very little time before we conclude the entire meeting, so if we could be very brief, whatever is remaining. Can we have the USAID first?
Thank you, Your Excellency. I am very pleased to be here today, just a few months after USAID Administrator Green's visit to Mogadishu to reopen the USAID mission and swear in our first mission director since 1991, Mr. Jeff Backen, whom you all know. And I'm especially pleased to be here since I left Somalia in 1983. The reestablishment of the USAID mission and the 5-year, $300 million bilateral agreement signed at this very forum almost 2 years ago signals a deepening of the U.S. government's partnership with Somalia on its journey to self-reliance. The potential for debt relief and the normalization of Somalia's relationship with the international financial institutions associated with it is absolutely. We join others who have congratulated the authorities on the progress made to date towards HIPC decision point, and we know continued progress will be hard, as it will be in all of your journey. Reaching agreement has become urgent. That agreement between the federal government and the federal member states really is urgent if the debt relief timetable is to be maintained. As the largest humanitarian donor to Somalia, we also remain extremely concerned about the current drought and humanitarian conditions following the worst GU harvest in southern Somalia since 1995. I am therefore pleased to announce an additional U.S. government commitment of nearly $257 million, $250,000, to address life-threatening hunger and acute malnutrition, and to provide safe water and emergency health care to Somalis. This brings our total contribution to nearly $498 million, or almost $500 million for fiscal year 2019. This additional financial commitment is representative of our resolve to support the Somali people in their time of need, and we encourage other donors to increase their contributions to address Somalia's critical humanitarian needs. This is going to be a very, very tough year for the Somali people. At the same time, we must all step up our investments to help the most vulnerable build resilience to withstand future shocks in order to eventually reduce Somalia's humanitarian caseload. By building resilience, we are not only equipping people with the tools they need to realize their potential, but we are also enabling more resources to be directed towards other critical priorities in Somalia, as outlined in NDP 9. Of course, the really challenging work will begin after the Somalia Partnership Forum. Reaching political agreement and implementing the reforms that are key to Somalia's future stability and development will be the most substantial challenge faced by Somalia to date. As the U.S. government, we join the rest of the international community in readiness to support the Somali government and people as they chart their own path to recovery and self-reliance, and I hope soon I will be able to return to the peaceful Somalia that I knew before. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the good news. Come back again. Can we ask DFID now and see if they can match these numbers?
Today, but perhaps not definitely today. Thank you, Your Excellency, everybody, good afternoon. This is a good session because it's where we get to talk about the people of Somalia. That's what social development is all about. And its people are its biggest asset, and we all know that it's important to invest. We've heard about some of the progress that's been made, but we all know that there's still a lot to do. We still have a third of primary age children not enrolled. We still have over 1 million children malnourished, and women take massive risks in childbirth, risks that I don't think many of us would be prepared to take. So we are very keen to support that. We also know that a third of Somalis need humanitarian assistance and protection, and the numbers of internally displaced remaining very high. We could easily be overwhelmed by those statistics, but we can't do that. And so I commend the progress that's been made by the government and the upcoming, as it says there, the durable solutions for returnees, refugees and IDPs. I think it's a great word to give people a chance of a better life with dignity and self-reliance, and to applaud the consultative nature and the poverty focus of the 9th National Development Plan. And I'd like to use this opportunity to reaffirm our commitment to the humanitarian effort. We recently increased our humanitarian program for this year by 30 million to help with the current situation. That brings our total new programming since 2017, moving forward to 250 million over, that's not just this year, that's over several years, just to be fully transparent about that. As we work with our partners, we're clear that this must be targeted to the most vulnerable wherever they are, and in accordance with humanitarian principles. We want to break the cycle of dependence on humanitarian aid, so this work goes alongside an increasing emphasis on building resilience. We have heard how resilient the Somalian people are, and we want to carry on building that resilience. We also want to work with the government to ensure that our partners, including our non-government partners, are able to operate and deliver, and keen to work with government to address the bottlenecks and some of the security impediments that get in the way of that vital work. So we're committed to work with line ministries in the social sectors to have the systems, including the systems and the World Bank, to build systems so that the government can provide for its citizens, and also look at the role that the private sector can play in equitable service delivery. And that's why we're championing and other resources begin to build. They go to the right things at the right time with the right result for all of Somalia's people. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Finland.
Thank you. Prime Minister, Ministers, Excellencies, delegates. Finland congratulates Somalia, the federal government and the federal member states for the achievements in economic recovery, the efforts in state building and the reforms. Finland will continue to support the state building efforts and will continue to support Somalia in the social sector development. As we have heard, it is necessary to invest in human capital, and it is necessary to invest especially in the potential of women, in our view, also in children and the youth, in order for Somalia to achieve its full potential. Finland will increase its support in this sector, and we stay committed. We encourage all levels of the federal government and the member states governments to have women and girls' protection and empowerment at the center of the development of the social sector. In particular, this means ensuring that the sexual and reproductive health and rights of women and girls, and protecting women and girls from violence. It means increasing women and girls' access to quality education and safe learning. It means women's participation in decision-making. Only through inclusive and democratic governance, where women, youth, and minorities have equal opportunities for participation and representation and development, Somalia will be able to reach its goals and build an inclusive and peaceful society, also for the coming generations. Another topic I would like to take up, even though we are under the social segment, Finland congratulates Somalia for the development and adoption of the National Reconciliation Framework. This is the frame for Somali-owned and Somali-led reconciliation processes at different levels of society. Finland continues to support the implementation of the reconciliation process. We have witnessed efforts in inclusive politics, and we encourage the federal government to conclude the constitutional review process in an inclusive manner and with urgency. Finland will continue working hand in hand with Somalia, also by providing crisis management professionals, supporting civil society organizations, providing humanitarian support, and facilitating evolving business cooperation. To conclude, we remain fully committed to support state building process, to stable Somalia based on the rule of law, democracy, and respect for human rights, where all people, men and women, can live in peace and dignity. Thank you.
Thank you very much for these encouraging words. As we conclude this sector, I can see I have still some names on the list. Canada is on the list here.
Thank you, Excellency, Prime Minister. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Canada would first like to thank partners for the hard work undertaken to host constructive discussions on Somalia's progress, both here and last week at the United Nations General Assembly. These open discussions and partnerships are crucial to achieving peace, security, and economic development in Somalia. Canada commends the federal government of Somalia and federal member states for progress made in rebuilding. We also recognize that there are both challenges and opportunities ahead. It is Canada's view that the path to peace, stability, and economic prosperity in Somalia requires an inclusive approach to federalism where all parties can be heard and there can be active cooperation with international partners, including states and the United Nations, towards a common vision. To these ends, we're enhancing our international assistance in Somalia, working in partnership with government, civil society, and international organizations. We continue to be a consistent contributor to humanitarian operations and are pleased to confirm that we have also begun providing longer-term development assistance. Canada believes that peace and development will not be achieved without the full and equal participation of women and girls in all spheres of life, and that this participation is dependent on improved access to quality education and healthcare, including maternal health and family planning. In this respect, and as part of our commitment to the G7 Charlevoix Declaration, Canada is working to provide marginalized girls in rural and remote areas of Somalia with improved educational opportunities. I would also like to highlight the opportunities ahead for the democratic inclusion of all Somalis and for equitable social development. The first are the upcoming national elections, for which we take note of the launch of Somalia's Women's Charter in March 2009, which calls for 50% representation of women in government and socio-economic sectors in Somalia, and we hope that this ambition is reflected in the new electoral law. The second is the opportunity for debt relief and access to new sources of development finance. Canada, along with other Paris Club members, remains committed to the HIPC framework. We commend the continued progress made by Somali authorities and encourage the federal government and member states to continue to work together closely to fulfill the conditions required for a HIPC decision point. Once again, I would like to offer thanks to all those involved in preparing this forum, including the drafting of the Mutual Accountability Framework. We look forward to working with you all to continue our dialogue under this framework and actively contribute to Somalia's work to implement the 9th National Development Plan. On a final note, I would like to acknowledge the fine work and dedication of my fellow Canadian, George Conway, in both UNDP and UNSOM as he comes to the conclusion of his assignment in the coming days. Thank you, George.
See, George is leaving. Oh. Thank you very much. I hope George is around. Very good, don't go. Can we now conclude with Australia and a few minutes with Russia and then we close? Australia?
Thank you, Your Excellency, Prime Minister, Excellencies, distinguished delegates. At the outset, may I highlight Australia's appreciation for this important forum and our continued support to coordinated international efforts for ongoing progress in Somalia. Our support is strongly focused on humanitarian assistance and community resilience, including through SOMREP and UN OCHA. We will continue to work with partners to help build coping capacities for the Somali people. Achieving each of the federal government of Somalia's priorities, as measured against the Mutual Accountability Framework and the themes we have discussed today, will require the active inclusion of the most vulnerable and marginalised within the community, including internally displaced persons, women and girls, and persons with disabilities. This is in line with the Sustainable Development Goals commitment to leave no one behind, and with the centrality of protection. Excellency, Australia commends the federal government of Somalia on the recent ratification of the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities and encourages prompt operationalisation of its implementation plan, including the passing of the National Disability Bill and establishment of a National Agency for Disability. We also encourage all states party to the CRPD to uphold obligations under Article 32 and organisations party to the Humanitarian Disability Charter to ensure that persons with disabilities are included in international development and humanitarian action. Australia has started a technical partnership with OCHA Somalia to facilitate the mainstreaming of disability inclusion throughout the humanitarian program cycle. Your Excellency, we hope that the rights and needs of the most vulnerable and marginalised will always be at the forefront of our collective actions as we progress the priorities established through the latest framework. Thank you.
We are running out of time, so if we could give Russia a few minutes and then we have to wrap up, people are traveling back. Russia, please.
Thank you. Excellency Prime Minister, Excellency Ministers, Excellency Ambassadors, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank the organizers of this conference for their good work. Russian Federation approves the conference, welcomes the final declaration. Russia will work with the international community to resolve the domestic political situation and increase stability in Somalia. We support the holding of the Somalis Partnership Conference on a regular basis. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have now a few minutes and we have to go through the communique and do some closing, and I know people have to travel back. But we need to first give a few minutes to the Governor and Mayor of Mogadishu, Omar, and then 2 or 3 minutes and 2 minutes, Minister Deka, and then we're going to conclude.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Prime Minister of the Federal Government of Somalia, His Excellency Mr. Hassan Ali Khaireh, Special Representative of UN to Somalia, His Excellency Mr. James Iswan, Head of African Union Mission to Somalia, His Excellency Mr. Francisco Madera, Organization of Islamic Cooperation, the Arab League, Presidents of the federal member states, members of the Federal Cabinet and the Federal both houses, ambassadors and heads of missions, other dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I'm very, very delighted to welcome you to Mogadishu, the capital city of Somalia. A capital succeeded to host various international conferences such as this one, the Somali Partnership Forum. More than 3 million people live in Mogadishu, where 500,000 of them are displaced persons, IDPs, hosted by the city. It is the second fastest growing city in the world and located in Benin region with the highest number of population comparing to other regions of Somalia. As a result of such big number of population, essential public service delivery is very key, and we have recognized the importance of setting a vision with its strategies and policies to accomplish. Mr. Prime Minister, ladies and gentlemen, Benin Regional Administration is envisions to realize Mogadishu to be safe, politically represented, achieved economic recovery and growth, as well as availability of livelihood opportunities for all. To accomplish such vision, Benin Regional Administration and Mogadishu Municipality works towards institutional reform and capacity development through formulating comprehensive and clear policies and frameworks, as well as human capital investment. And building a strong partnership with our stakeholders at all levels. Municipality of Mogadishu, MOM, ensures that the existing land management policies, city reconstructionist guidelines to be reformed and streamlined. Municipality of Mogadishu prioritizes to achieve durable solution for displacement in Mogadishu in line with existing policies and strategic visions. We intend to focus on creation of job opportunities for youth as part of economic growth and peace building. Since I came to office, I immediately started to identify priorities and goals to accomplish our vision towards the capital of Somalia, Mogadishu. In line with the 9 National Development Plan, we came up with 6 basic pillars plan, namely security and justice, social service delivery, inclusive politics, institutional capacity development, economic and infrastructure development, environmental protection, that means hygiene and waste management. Security and justice, we have made security reforms in our headquarters office to ensure safety and to receive the image and the trust by the Somali people and the federal leaders and the international community in our office. New security standard operation procedures have been established in BRA's City Hall. We are working on security improvement in Mogadishu, cooperating with the security agencies to respond to the concerns by the citizens living in Mogadishu towards roadblocks as a result of this. I appointed a special committee tasked to work on opening roads with no negative impact of overall security operations to ensure free movement. Economic recovery and service delivery for all, implementing national security at the Jeddah, we are going to operationalize the Banadil Regional Security Council, where security strategies and operations will be established, and how the security agencies, district commissioners, and the citizens can jointly work together. We are also working on the implementation of Mogadishu Neighborhood Watch Program and civic education to act towards countering violent extremism through creation jobs for youth and other business opportunities. As Banat Regional Administration, we intend to further improve our collaboration with the judicial sector at all levels, at regional and district levels, to address injustice of land dispute. We are committed to give support and enforcement for those seeking justice in this field. We uphold the motto of no one is above the law. Social service delivery. Under this bill, we intend to improve primary public health care for mother and children, improve primary education in all 17 districts, achieve durable solution for displacement in Mogadishu, advance emergency services to all 17 districts, and for the big community markets in Mogadishu. Inclusive politics. As part of our vision, we intend to work towards determining Mogadishu political status in line with the Somali Professional Constitution and working with the relevant agencies. Establishing district and regional council, undertaking civic education campaigns on good governance, elections, and social accountability. In institutional capacity development, we focus to improve the capacity of the institution by building the capacity of the human capital, establishing effective and transparent public financial management systems, empowering the internal audit office, and also working closely with the Federal Audit Office to ensure transparency and proper use of public wealth.
Thank you.
Economic and infrastructure development.
Soco, Umar, yeah.
By considering the request of the Prime Minister, I want to conclude my speech. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Umar. Thank you very much. He is the governor and a mayor of a population of over 3 million, and he has the most difficult job. And I hope all the donors will give him all the necessary support. It shows that he has taken the government's roadmaps, adopted into Banadir administration on all levels. That shows the spirit and level of working relationship. Thank you very much, Umar. We want to conclude this. Minister Daga, we give you only 2 minutes, and then we have to read the communique and bring it to an end.
Your Excellency, Prime Minister, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. As yesterday's session, we examined the partnership principles in terms of what they are, what they entail, and their evolution in the framework of the Somali Compact New Deal, and our collective engagement with them in the course of translating the mutually agreed focus areas for development aid. As government, we expressed our unqualified commitment in adhering to the principles as outlined in the Mutual Accountability Framework. I wish to restate that commitment in today's session. The foregoing restatement is important because as a government, we are alive to the fact that it's not enough to merely make a declaratory statement of commitment without qualifying the same with demonstrable measures to enable their fulfillment for the benefit of our people. I will therefore give a brief elaboration to demonstrate our commitment by setting out some of the deliberate measures we have taken to put in place an enabling framework. The enabling measures and the gain I'm sharing today are by no means exhaustive. Your Excellencies, in terms of the demonstrable commitment to the partnership principles, the emerging consensus, a lot has been said about the Somali ownership and alignment and the use of the country's system. So let me focus on the new entry in the map, that is on human rights and gender. We have affirmed the centrality of human rights in the observance of the partnership principles. To demonstrate this, the federal government has facilitated reintegration of Somalia into the regional international human rights community and system. A major milestone in this regard was the election of Somalia to the membership of the United Nations Human Rights Council. 1 year ago today, 2nd of October 2018, Somalia has acceded to and ratified the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. Measures have also put in place to reduce the 35 years backlog on our reporting obligations. We have adopted a human rights-based approach and gender mainstreaming as a governance and development planning tools. In March 2019, the federal government of Somalia facilitated the first Somali Women's National Convention, at which the Somali Women's Charter and Strategic Action Plan were adopted.
Thank you, Dara.
1 minute.
You have 30 seconds.
Okay. So on environment and climate change, we share in the acceptance that environmental justice
is an important aspect of societal posterity for the benefit of generation coming after us. However, I would like to highlight that climate change affects different segments of society differently, especially women, children, persons with disabilities, and other vulnerable groups. Climate change is also a source for potential conflict, premises, and competition over scarce resources. I thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Thank you very much for. I'm sorry not to be rude, but we have a few minutes and we have to have the communication adopted and agreed upon before we conclude. So who has the communique? Please. Minister, can we read the communique? Has all round is received?
Here's the communique. Somalia and its international partners met in Mogadishu on 1st to 2nd October 2019.
A few minutes to adopt the communique if you can listen.
For the Somali Battleship Forum. The participants took stock of the progress made since the previous SPF in July 2018 and agreed priority actions to address the remaining challenges together. International partners recognized Somalia's achievements and commended the leadership of the federal government of Somalia for the significant progress in implementing reforms, including improved public financial management and revenue generation, consultations on a new national development plan, extensive security reforms, successful operations to retake and stabilize territory previously held by Al-Shabaab, increasing delivery of social services, and progress towards local reconciliation in some areas. At the same time, a number of challenges remain, including the need to generate jobs and economic growth, continue the fight against Al-Shabaab, respond to humanitarian crises, and build resilience, lay foundations for inclusive politics, and strengthen respect for the rights, participation, and representation of women and minorities.
If you speak a bit louder so that everyone hears, Minister.
Somalia and its international partners agreed on a mutual accountability framework to narrow their joint focus to priority areas for action and resources in order to achieve key priority outcomes before December 2020. International partners noted that despite advances on a number of key priorities, strengthened political cooperation between the FGS and some federal member states would have accelerated progress. Somalia's leaders agreed that such cooperation is critical in order to make further progress on political, security, and economic reforms, and that this will require the strong personal commitment of all FGS and FMS leaders. Somalia is committed to successfully conclude current security operations, undertake further operations against Al-Shabaab, and complete priority reforms of security, justice, and human rights institutions. In 2020, the focus of this will be jointly identified and planned to ensure that all stakeholders can align their efforts and resources to agreed locations. International partners are committed to support the generation of human rights compliant security forces, the stabilization of newly recovered areas, including access to justice, and key reform processes, including human resources and payroll reform of the Somali security forces. Somalia and international partners also agreed to cooperate on additional steps towards a smooth transition from AMISOM to Somali-led security. Joint steps will also be taken led by the FGS to secure the federal electoral process and strengthen security in Mogadishu. Somalia is committed to meet in full the benchmarks in its fourth IMF staff monitoring program, and international partners are committed to actively support the FGS to meet the benchmarks, building on the significant progress to date, and to take the necessary steps to prepare for an anticipated heavily in-debt poor countries decision point in early 2020. International partners welcomed the recent workshop in Addis Ababa on the debt relief process and encouraged the FGS and FMS to continue their efforts at a political level to develop and strengthen intergovernmental fiscal frameworks. In order to ensure that federal one person, one vote elections are held in late 2020, early 2021. The executive and legislative are committed to adopt an electoral law by December 2019. Somalia is committed to complete the constitutional review by June 2020 and adopt an amended federal constitution, establish the Constitutional Court and the Judicial Service Commission, continue the national reconciliation process, and ensure the participation of all sectors of society, including women, in political decision-making. International partners agreed to promote dialogue and political engagement and to mobilize resources to supplement government financing following adoption of the priority legislation to support these processes and to help Somalia to meet the timetable for preparations. Somalia is committed to prioritize youth empowerment and employment generation, to build resilience through social protection, achieve durable solutions for refugees, returnees, and internally displaced persons in full respect for humanitarian principles and international human rights law, and increase social service delivery. This includes better aligning development assistance with National Development Plan 9 priorities, strengthening the government's ability to deliver services to the population, and enhancing government legitimacy. International partners agreed to support these priorities, in particular by reducing the remaining financing gap for the 2019 Humanitarian Response Plan. Somali and international partners agreed to prioritize joint action on water management, private sector development, trade, and regional integration and improvement of infrastructure services. The FGS intends to establish a national approach to address the impact of climate change on public policy and enact legislation to foster growth and generate employment. Somalia has made progress in recent years thanks to the strength of the partnership between Somalia and the international community. They agreed to ensure that their efforts are aligned to progressively increase the use of country systems and to adopt and implement a national legal framework governing national and international non-governmental organizations, including protections afforded to NGOs by the provisional federal constitution and human rights legislation, and for NGOs to act in full compliance with Somali law. The forum reaffirmed the commitment of all parties to this partnership and to the principle of mutual accountability in order to maximize their collective efforts to build a bright future for Somalia. The participants paid tribute to the Somali security forces and troop and police contributing countries of AMISOM for their bravery and sacrifice in restoring peace in Somalia. Somalia expressed its gratitude to international partners for their steadfast commitment to supporting Somalia's state building, prosperity, and stability for the benefit of all Somalis.
So I officially request if the communique can be endorsed by everyone in the room. I have 29 counties endorsed and the entire government on this side. And with that note, I think we are edging towards the end. I'm sorry that we've kept you half an hour over, but I think it has been a very good day, 2 days. I would like to begin by thanking you all for dedicating the time to come to Mogadishu and participate in this forum. We are very proud to host this forum in Somalia, and we believe your active participation keeps the Somali flame alive. We will also sincerely appreciate all the feedback we've received over the past 2 days. It has been healthy debate, as we have debated the progress and challenges of the past and the priorities for next year. I would like to thank all the international partners and encourage them to further take part of the debate as we continue formation of this nation and to strive for making irreversible gains. I would like to recognize the team spirit between the federal government of Somalia and the UN organizers in ensuring we host a successful forum. One of the changes that took place is this forum itself and where we are seated. 2 years ago, we didn't have that capacity. We thank you, Jim, for your leadership. I began with the United Nations for all the support. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs in delivering their mandate have also been outstanding. The Office of the President and our security personnel, and finally my team. The Office of the Prime Minister, who really bear the most of the brunt, and the staff in the coordination unit have been working tirelessly. We're very, very grateful. You make me proud. I know I am not easy to please. We thank Minister Jamal and the NDP 9. Congratulations, and very well done, and your entire staff. We say goodbye to Pilar and say we will miss you. EU Development Lead. I want to recognize my great brother, Yeriso, who has been an outstanding friend and been on my side the days he has been in office. I know he's in heaven. We love him, and we will always cherish his memory. I want to recognize George, if he can stand up. I came to know George before I even met him. Everyone will come to my office and they will say, "Do you know George?" He embodied the spirit of service of this nation, and for that, we love you, and you are awarded Somali passport. You've done an outstanding work. You've made Somalia proud. You made the UN proud. We love you. I wish you could stay, and if you need a job as long as I'm Prime Minister, you have one. Jamal, watch out for your job. We welcome the recognition of the progress we've made. At the same time, we realize that much more remains to be done, and we are committed to put in the hard work to make even more irreversible changes. We don't shy away from the challenges. We will forge forward. I'm glad that we have endorsed the Mutual Accountability Framework, because it commits both sides for us to work together, as well as jointly endorsed the SPF Somali Partnership Communique. I want to call some people here who I would like to recognize. One is someone who works at the office of Jim, called Fiona, for the outstanding work you've been doing for our country and for the preparation. Your efforts are not unnoticed. We're very grateful. I'm going to call a young girl in my office called Hanan, who hasn't slept for many nights, who is one of the unsung heroes who people know. And of course, I will thank my Chief of Staff, and what would I do here without support of Samira? Thank you very much. We are committed to work with you. This has been a fruitful. Thank you very much.